Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas with you this morning, visiting with Anna Ginnis from the National Kidney Foundation. We just heard, if you haven't heard, then when this is on the archives, listen to the podcast to hear Lauren's story about becoming a donor and giving one of her kidneys to a good friend. We also want to welcome Sheila here, who is going to be waiting for a kidney soon, and you were told by your doctor, start to line up potential donors. Tell us a little bit about your story, Sheila.
Well, my story kind of goes back quite a bit. I've been struggling with some kidney issues since I was about 5 years old. It's my understanding I got the strep virus as a child, and the strep made its way to my kidneys and did some damage. So my kidneys have always been somewhat compromised, although they've been fully functioning up until 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I was participating in the Warrior Dash with my family and had come out of a lake from one obstacle and got up on top of another obstacle and was coming down a ladder when I went to turn around, and I slipped and fell on my right side. And I felt something shift in my back, and I remember thinking, this is not good, because they've been watching my kidneys since I was a child. So several months later, fast forward, I go into a doctor's visit for something else completely random, and they do a urinalysis test and find that my kidney function had decreased. So then they scheduled me for a kidney biopsy. That biopsy revealed that I was already at that point in stage 3 renal dysfunction. So I was referred to a nephrologist who I went to see, and I've been seeing him for the last 4 years. And I've just continued to decline at a pretty rapid rate.
You're a very healthy person. How is where you are now affecting that? Is there an impact in your right now day-to-day lifestyle?
It actually is. I mean, it's not been too bad. I don't struggle too much, but my biggest struggle right now is with fatigue and weakness. There's a lot of things that I have a hard time doing. Steps are very difficult for me. My biggest complication right now is just inability to focus and concentrate sometimes. And just like I said, the weakness and fatigue.
Mm-hmm. What kind of steps are you told now between now and that day you get your new kidney? What has to happen between now and that day?
Well, I've begun my transplant workup. I've contacted the Cleveland Clinic to get that started. I just did a 15-minute phone interview with the Cleveland Clinic and gave them a lot of my medical information. They will pass that on to some nurses and doctors who will then review that information, and then they will call me to schedule a full-day appointment to come in and undergo a lot of physical testing, a lot of physical and mental evaluations. And at that point, it'll then be determined if I'm eligible to receive a kidney.
Okay, and then there will be people who want to donate and then need to find out if they're a match. So, Anna, let me ask you this. Let's say 3 or 4 people say, I want to help out Sheila, and, we're believing one of them is going to be a good match. What happens to the others? Can they donate to someone they don't know, or do you have to donate to someone that you know?
I love that question because it is so incredibly important. Yes, they can. If there's 2 main types of living donation. There's directed donation and non-directed donation. So a directed donation would be, I know that Sheila needs a kidney, so I'm going to donate to her. I'm going to go through all the testing. Hopefully I'm a match for her. It's done. Let's say a non-directed donation is, I know my name is Lauren. This is exactly what Lauren did, right? Originally, where she said, I want to give a kidney to somebody. Maybe she didn't know who originally that was, but she said, listen, I have it in me. I want to save somebody's life. It doesn't matter to me who it goes to. Now, let's say there's, I guess, maybe 3. Let's say I want to give my kidney to Sheila, but I am not a match for Sheila. Well, there's something called a paired exchange, and a lot of people don't know about this, and this is crucial. A paired exchange is where I am now willing, Sheila now doesn't have a match for a kidney, but let's say, Susie, you need a kidney, and I might be a match for you. and your prospective donor wasn't a match for you, but they may be a match for Sheila.
We can switch.
We can switch. So it's called a pair donation.
That's
and there
awesome.
has been a paired exchange as large as 16 people. I think that was the
Oh,
highest
my goodness.
number of paired exchange. So it only takes one person to back out and ruin the whole thing. But it didn't happen because it's just such a wonderful thing. So you obviously need at least 4 people. Right. For the paired exchange to even happen. But yeah, it can really, really grow. So if you think that, oh, I'm not a match, the game is over, that is absolutely not true. You could still change your best friend's life by giving somebody else a kidney and they give a kidney back.
Just amazing. So, of course, you would rather have a living donor because in the case of a deceased donor, for one thing, maybe they didn't have a healthy kidney and that's why they're deceased. So what's the procedure of finding out what works and what doesn't work?
Well, it's a very complicated testing process. Now, no surgeon is going to approve a deceased kidney for somebody that's not
right.
good.
They would have to have a healthy kidney.
Absolutely.
It was something else like a tragic accident or something.
Right, exactly. So they're only, and then there's a rigorous process that goes into, okay, because doctors will have a laundry. I mean, the list is so long of people that actually need kidneys. And so they will go through the list and say, okay, first it's the blood type, that we need to match. Then there's a whole bunch of other criteria that have to match because ultimately no one wants to have a surgery where that kidney has the potential for failure and rejection.
Right.
Because even after you receive the kidney as the recipient, you have to take anti-rejection medication for the rest of your life. So because it's still a foreign object, as much as the matches, it's still not your kidney. It's still not
your
your
body
organ.
knows that.
Exactly. So it is imperative. So we live in the best healthcare network possible. Cleveland is and Ohio is just the hub of the best healthcare. So for anybody in this area, you are in the right place. So talk to your transplant centers, talk to your doctors. They will always make the best decision and make sure that the transplant process goes as smoothly as possible.
Well, let's talk about this area. What kind of a need is there here in our community?
Oh my gosh. So in Stark County, there's about approximately 375,000 people in Stark County. On a national level, 1 in 3 adult Americans is at risk for chronic kidney disease because of high blood pressure, diabetes, family history. That means that out of the 375,000 people in Stark County alone, 125,000 of them are at risk. So many of your listeners right now could be at risk for chronic kidney disease.
And they don't know it.
So about 90% of people don't know that they're either at risk or have chronic kidney disease. And if you really even boil it down even further, 1 in 7 adult Americans has chronic kidney disease and don't know it. So that means that 53,000 people living in Stark County right now have chronic kidney disease, and 90% of them don't know they have it.
Well, there's probably a bunch of hypochondriacs right now just going,
running around.
No. What are some flags? What were some symptoms? Sheila, you mentioned you felt fatigue. Was there anything else that you thought I need to get tested?
Some signs are not visible. Like with the urine test, I had no knowledge of that, but they can see it in a urinalysis test. But you can have back pain, sharp pain right along the backside of your back.
That's what you felt. Is there anything else, Anna?
I was just going to say high blood pressure is another sign. If you have,
Yeah.
Okay.
And even retaining water, a lot of people get that. But everything that Sheila's saying and that I'm saying is not really specific to just chronic kidney disease. You could feel fatigued. You could feel the retaining of water
for a lot of
fluids
reasons.
For a million different reasons. This is
Right.
why chronic kidney disease, it's not talked about. And it's not talked about because it's a silent killer. That's what we call it. And it's scary because it's the reality of it. But here's the good news, right?
Good, we need some.
The good news is that you can prevent it. Once you have chronic kidney disease, it is irreversible. But here's the thing. If you can go, I challenge everybody to go to their doctor and ask for a GFR. That's G as in
Go.
God. Yeah. F
Yes.
as in Frank and R as in rally.
Okay.
So go get the GFR
What does it
test.
really stand for?
Glomerular filtration rate. So it's your kidney function score. And what it'll tell you is on standard blood work, it'll tell you whether you're greater than or less than a 60. 60 is kind of that magic number where if you're 60 or above, that means you have 60% kidney function or above. And that's pretty good. It's average. If you're less than 60, that's a red flag. But here's the thing. A lot of physicians, and we love our physicians,
Absolutely.
so this is not an attack, but this is just to prove how much we should be advocates for our own health. If you go and ask for your actual number every time you go to the doctor, because let's say I'm an 85 one year and the next year I get a physical and I'm a 70, well, that number has dropped significantly. If all it says on my document is greater than 60 and I'm like, oh, I'm fine, I don't have to see a doctor, that's fine. And then I get to that 60, well, once that 60 happens, it's a slippery slope underneath. But if I can see from an 85 to a 70, I can question what's going on and maybe change my diet, change the things that I'm doing, limit my intake of salt. So I can make changes now. And I challenge everybody to go get a GFR test, find out the actual number, not just a greater than or less than, and then be your own advocate for your health.
Absolutely. There might be somebody here right now, and they've heard everybody, and they've heard Sheila's story, and they're saying, "Oh, I would love to find out if I would be compatible with her." What would their steps be, and how do they say, "I want this to be for Sheila if she's available. I want to go on her list as a potential donor"? What do they do? What would be the steps to do?
Well, first they would have to come forward and call Sheila and connect with you, Susie, and talk to Sheila and say, Sheila, I'm interested. I have a conversation with her, and then Sheila would get them connected with her physicians and start going through the process.
Okay. Anyone can contact the National Kidney Foundation for more information. What's the best way to do that?
You can call our phone number, direct line. It's 440-241-6780.
Can you give that one more time, please?
440-241-6780. And we're happy to answer any questions about chronic kidney disease, risk factors, living donation. We can get you in touch with Sheila. We can get you in touch with Susie, Lauren. We can have you talk to anybody you need to.
Sheila, Lauren, Anna, thank you so much for joining us today and for all you do in our community.
Thank you.